This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iFilm London. We're in Caesars here in Atlantic City. I've just run into the magic man, Paulie Malignaggi. What's happening, Paulie? You good?
Chilling, man. Yeah, just chilling. Just had a workout. Chilling out here in town for the big fight.
The last time I saw you was in Vegas, and I have to probably label it the best press conference I've ever seen. And I make it a living going to press conferences, so that was the best one I've ever seen.
Well, I'm glad there was fans of it too, because I know some people weren't crazy about it, but I'm glad there some people enjoyed it.
When you watch it back, I only watched it back actually about 2 or 3 days ago, and I watched the whole thing again. I saw Stephen Espinoza sitting just below you, and I watched Stephen Espinoza's face all the way through it, and he just put his head down all the way through it while you were in full flow. But
because I'm sure Stephen was thinking, man, okay, this guy works for me as a broadcaster, but at the same time, this is selling the fight like hotcakes, you know. So I'm sure he was torn. But in the end, you know, in the spirit of competition, you know, a lot of things come out, and sometimes press conferences get ugly.
Let's just talk about the fight quickly, because there wasn't much talking about the actual fight, which is a fantastic fight, you know, and there wasn't a lot, you know, talking about that. But Broner moving up to 147, first of all. You're obviously, you know, the bigger guy. How do you think he's going to fare at 147?
You know, I thought of it here and there about, you know, the fact that he's moving up, and yeah, it's always an advantage for the bigger guy when a guy's moving up in weight. But at the same time, you know, I'm not thinking about it to that extent too much. You know, I'm thinking about implementing a game plan, focusing on a game plan, executing the game plan. You know, the fact that I'm a bigger guy, it may tell, it may show, it may not. You know, people seem to think that because he's got a lot of knockouts at lightweight and at junior lightweight, you know, it's going to translate to more power at welterweight, and he, you know, it's not going to matter who's bigger. But in reality, I don't think so much about that, more so than I think about outclassing him, beating him up. You know, I really believe his power is overrated. I can stand in front of him if I need to, and mix it up. You know, I think I'll be in good enough shape to do what I need to do against him, and I'm really not that impressed, man. I mean, he's not a terrible fighter, but he's not.
Do you think he's overrated?
Definitely overrated. Definitely not a pound for pound level fighter. Definitely overrated. Not a fighter with no talent. I'm not gonna say that, because, you know, he does have talent, but definitely not a pound for pound level fighter. Definitely not a fighter who earned his 2 world championships, that's for sure. I mean, okay, I'll give you the Antonio DeMarco fight, even if Antonio DeMarco came the way down that night. But the first world title, come on, man. That first world title, you never heard of that guy before. You'll never hear of him since. I mean, that guy, did you see that guy's record? That guy lost to a guy 9-10, like 2 fights later. I mean, come on, how did that guy even end up in a world title fight? You know? And Adrian won his first world title, and he was crying. I wouldn't have cried if I won a world title like that. I would have been like, all right, I guess I'll take it. Come on, man, give me a break.
Paulie, you're the champion at this weight. Do you see yourself going into the fight as is it a 50-50 fight? Who's the favourite?
Well, you know, I notice people make him the favorite, but I really can't see myself losing. I can't see myself losing this fight, man. I feel so good. Training's going good. I feel real focused. I feel real sharp. You know, we're still 5.5 weeks out, 5 weeks out. So, you know, I don't want to jinx anything or you know, get ahead of myself. But my preparation's going good. And like I said, we have several game plans intact, and including, you know, I don't believe his power is that much, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, people think, oh, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna run all over the place? Well, you'll see what I'm gonna do, man. Because I'm gonna beat his ass, man. I'm gonna beat the shit out of this kid, and it's not gonna be pretty sight, man. It's not gonna be pretty sight for his fans. It's not gonna be a pretty sight for his friends. It's not gonna be, his band camp's gonna become broke camp after this, you know, because their money guy's gonna be beat up. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's tough. It's gonna be a tough sight for a lot of people.
I know the press conference, obviously things were said and blah blah, but what do you make of Adrian Broner as a person? Not a boxer, a person. What do you...
I don't know, really. I don't know. I mean, I don't know him like that. You know, I was cool with him before, but I mean, I still don't know him like that, you know. He seems a bit disrespectful. He seems to have no tact, really. No sense of manners, you know, around people or around, depending on what kind of people he's around. He just, you know, he doesn't seem a person like a well-mannered person, you know, in general. You know, he seems arrogant. You know, you need it when you fight for a living. You need a chip on your shoulder. You have to have that. You know, we wouldn't be fighters if we didn't have a chip on our shoulder. You can't get in the ring and not have a chip on your shoulder. It's just it goes hand in hand. But you gotta know how to turn that on and off. And it seems to me, you know, Adrian, either he wants to be like Floyd Mayweather, or he just wants to be arrogant and cocky all the time. And I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a well-mannered person. And I'm gonna be some manners as a personality until next month.
In England, obviously, we don't have press conferences like the one you had the other day. Very rarely does anything happen in an English press conference. Whether that's to do with the personalities of the boxers or just, you know, that isn't
really?
so.
Even when Nigel Benn and Eubank used to fight?
Yeah, we're talking a long time ago now. You know, you're talking, you know, quite a few years ago now. But in the modern day, there's a few guys that people look for. I mean, I love these press conferences. I think it's part of selling fights. So, you know, I embrace that sort of thing. The older generation don't embrace it as much. You know, they think if two fighters are good enough, you know, that will sell the fight. But in this day and age, that's not necessarily the case.
Well, you know what it is? Boxing's not a crossover mainstream sport in the United States anymore. So the only time the mainstream starts taking notice of a fight is when there are harsh words, there are disrespectful words, there are tense press conferences. You know, sort of in a WWE format, so to speak, you know, where you want to see the guys fight, you know, you want to see these guys settle it, you see these guys really having at it verbally and talking, and you say, oh man, you know what, I want to see these guys settle it in the ring, you know, I want to see these guys fight, you know, because boxing is not mainstream, you kind of need that to sell any combat sport, because any combat sport is really not mainstream. If you watch the UFC, even MMA, all their press conferences most of the time are not very respectful. You know, they're trash talking each other throughout the entire promotion. By the time the fight comes, I mean, people want to see those two guys get in the ring, and that in MMA sells more than boxing in the United States. So, you know, it's a situation with boxing the same thing. I mean, you know, if you're too well mannered, a lot of times, you know, boxing is not a big enough sport in the United States where it'll sell itself. Maybe in the old days, the older generation talking about, if two fighters are good enough, they'll sell themselves. Yeah, but nowadays, man, the fight won't sell because not enough people know about the two fighters, you know. So the only time they figure out to even talk about it is, wow, these guys got into it at the press conference. So these guys are really having at it. I want to tune in and see how they settle it when they fight, you know. So it's a new generation. You got to change with the times. You know, you had guys. I mean, literally, guys been trash talking since Muhammad Ali, really. You know what I'm saying? So you know, trash talk is not new to combat sports, but obviously, you know, you have some guys who do it and some guys that don't. When you have two verbal firecrackers, and guys who set off fireworks like me and Broner, verbally, you know, you're gonna have a press conference like we had. You know, but it's gonna sell. I heard tickets are selling really well. People are interested in the fight. People want to see the fight. You know, I've always been a very marketable fighter. People love marketing Adrian as the next superstar in boxing. So, you know, I think the combination of us two getting in the ring, fighting, or having a promotion together, I think automatically sells. It's going to make people want to see the fight, and so I don't see anything wrong with it.
I just got to ask you, this whole press conference was based around a girl who we don't have to mention, but it was based around a girl. What's the situation? Because it was like, it seemed like the whole press conference. I mean, you might not want to talk about it, but
no. She was a I'll call her an old friend. You know, the term I use to describe her is basically, it doesn't mean for the weekends, for real. It means like a good time girl, you know, a girl you hang out with and you have a good time with, but you would never make her your girlfriend, that type of girl, you know. All guys know what I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah, in England we call that a Tuesday night girl.
A Tuesday night girl, right? Yeah. But you don't necessarily hang out with her on a Tuesday. You may hang out with your Tuesday night on a Friday night.
Yeah,
you know?
we get you.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's basically what I was referring to. She was a good time girl. We definitely hung out. You know, we were friends at one time, and I had some good times with her. You know, it was cool. But then, you know, I ended up having a borderline stalker on my hands, man. I mean, it got out of hand. So, you know, it got to the point where I'm not gonna deal with that, you know. And you know, I've got text messages and pictures and everything, you know, to prove it. And you know, my lawyers have advised me not to talk too much, because everything she's doing, she's continuing to incriminate herself. And you know, they're basically on her Twitter every day. My lawyers are on her Twitter every day. My lawyers are subpoenaing the phone records. So if this does get out of hand, you know, they will you know, take legal action. But you know, at the moment, I'm not gonna say I'm not at a liberty to talk about it. I really rather not even talk about it, because it's I don't want to go home and find a bunny boiling on my stove like in a Fatal Attraction, you know, because it's getting to that point.
All right, okay, well, we'll move on now. I don't want my video being used in a court case. So, no, just finally, obviously, Paulie, I'm from England, so you've got massive UK support. I see it on Twitter. You know, I speak to people all the time, and they got a lot of love for you in the UK. So, any plans to come back over there?
I would love to perform in the UK again, man. Those fans, every time I go there, I feel so welcome. I feel so at home. I told my grandfather a lot of times, you know, I said, man, years ago, your only mistake you made was you moved the family from Italy to the United States. You should have moved them from Italy to England, because I would have been a superstar, you know. And he laughed. We laugh and we joke about that, you know. But
is the last time you fought against Lovemore and Do?
In England, yeah.
Where you had the haircut in the ring.
Yeah. but I was there for the Hatton-Sinchenko fight.
Yeah,
know,
of course.
and just the love I get there is incredible. It's amazing, you know. And the fans are, and you know, even if the fans don't support you, they even if they give you a hard time, they give you the banter. It's still fun, you know. And that's what I like about the English fans. It's no malice in it, you know. It's still fun, you know. And so I really appreciate being there. They make you feel appreciated and loved as an athlete, as a performer, as a fighter. I would love a chance to perform there again. You know, we'll see how my career turns out.
All right. Well, first of all, 22nd of June, Barclays Centre, Brooklyn. It's on.
Yeah, it's on, man.
It's on.
I'm gonna kick his ass, man. Trust me. It's not gonna be close. It's not gonna be pretty. And you're gonna see. My preparation's going real well. I feel very good. I feel good. I feel ready to rock and roll. And you know, I'm looking forward to the day because I was a big underdog last year against Sinchenko. Nobody gave me a chance, and it felt really good to win. But I think this time, you know, the fact that I'm such an underdog in my hometown, in my home city, the motivation is there. You know, the preparation is very intense. We're sharp, we're good, and we're going to continue to stay sharp and stay focused. And June 22nd, you'll see the results.
Cool. And just finally, do you pronounce the G in your name? Is it silent?
Malignaggi, yeah. The first G is silent, yeah.
Yeah, Malignaggi. Because like when I hear Richard Schaefer mention names, like Malignaggi, so Malignaggi. I wasn't sure.
In Italian, it's actually GN is Gna, so it's Malignaggi, but nobody ever gets that, so I just tell them Malignaggi. But in Italian, when you say the G and N together, it's a Gna sound. So it's Malignaggi, but just to make things simple, I tell people Malignaggi.
I'm going to stick with Big Paulie.
Yeah, that's easy.
All right, Paulie, thank you very much for talking to iFilm London, and listen, good luck on the 22nd. Can't wait to see the fight.
Thanks, man.
KUGAN, CASSIUS, Paulie Malignaggi, iFilm London. Thank you very much.